Zechariah chapter 1. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying, The Lord hath been sore displeased with your fathers. Therefore say thou unto them, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn ye unto me, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will turn unto you, saith the Lord of hosts. Be ye not as your fathers, unto whom the former prophets have cried, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Turn ye now from your evil ways, and from your evil doings. But they did not hear, nor hearken unto me, saith the Lord. Your fathers, where are they? And the prophets, do they live forever? But my words and my statutes, which I commanded my servants the prophets, did they not take hold of your fathers? And they returned and said, Like as the Lord of hosts thought to do unto us, according to our ways and according to our doings, so hath he dealt with us. Upon the 24th day of the 11th month, which is in the month Sabbat, of the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord unto Zechariah the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying, I saw by night, and behold, a man riding upon a red horse, and he stood among the myrtle trees that were in the bottom, and behind him were their red horses, speckled and white. Then said I, O my Lord, what are these? And the angel that talked with me said unto me, I will shew thee what these be. And the man that stood among the myrtle trees answered and said, These are they whom the Lord hath sent to walk to and fro through the earth. And they answered the angel of the Lord that stood among the myrtle trees, and said, We have walked to and fro through the earth, and behold, all the earth sitteth still and is at rest. And the angel of the Lord answered and said, O Lord of hosts, how long wilt thou not have mercy on Jerusalem and on the cities of Judah, against which thou hast had indignation these 70 years? And the Lord answered the angel that talked with me with good words and comfortable words. So the angel that communed with me said unto me, Cry thou, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, I am jealous for Jerusalem and for Zion with a great jealousy. I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. For I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction. Therefore thus saith the Lord, I am returned to Jerusalem with mercies. My house shall be built in it, saith the Lord of hosts, and a line shall be stretched forth upon Jerusalem. Cry yet, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, My cities, though through prosperity, shall be spread abroad, and the Lord shall yet comfort Zion, and shall yet choose Jerusalem. Then lifted I up my eyes, and saw, and behold, 4 horns. And I said unto the angel that talked with me, What be these? And he answered me, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, Israel, and Jerusalem. And the Lord shewed me 4 carpenters. Then said I, What come these to do? And he spake, saying, These are the horns which have scattered Judah, so that no man did lift up his head. But these are come to fray them, to cast out the horns of the Gentiles, which lifted up their horn over the land of Judah to scatter it. Here in Zechariah, we see another prophet who is called to serve at the same time as Haggai. And that's because the people have come back from Babylon to specifically rebuild the temple and redo the city walls of Jerusalem. And the king of Persia is going to pay for them to do this, going to pay for the work, provide the stone, provide the lumber. These people are going to do the work. And as happens a lot of times, people get started off on something very enthusiastically, but they don't keep up with that level of enthusiasm. And 6 years after Cyrus sends them there and starts paying them, he dies. And his son Cambyses comes along, and he says, Why are we spending all this money to help these people do this? Forget it. Boop. So all of a sudden, the money isn't there anymore. And these people think, oh, we're not getting paid to do this anymore. What? And so they slow down. They do next to nothing. And the temple isn't really finished, and the walls of the city aren't really done. And Haggai and Zechariah come along to inspire them to do the work that they covenanted to do. In verses 2 to 6, we can ask ourselves, are the word of the Lord always fulfilled? And the answer is unquestionably yes. And here Zechariah is trying to get these people to understand that the word of the Lord is always fulfilled. Both the good, the bad, and the ugly, they're all there. And he wants them to please pay attention to the things the prophets are saying and do the things that they've covenanted to do that their fathers didn't do. The fathers would make the covenant, but then the fathers would turn around and do other things. And that wasn't what it was. Now, in verses 8 through to 17, we have the first of 7 visions that Zechariah has in his chapters here. The returning exiles were, the first vision was in response to the fact that the returning exiles really wanted to see some indication from the Lord that he was there at the temple. I mean, they didn't have the Ark of the Covenant, they didn't have any of the stuff that was there was none of the gold, there was none of all the rest of this, and they wanted to have some evidence that the Lord was accepting all this sacrifice, all this work that they were doing. I mean, this was not a weekend carpentry project. This was a massive amount of work for a relatively small amount of people to do. And they wanted some indication that the Lord was there. I mean, the Lord had showed himself in Mount Sinai, the Lord had shown himself in the tabernacle, the Lord had showed himself in Solomon's temple. Why wasn't he doing it here? And the reason was they hadn't finished it off. And so Zechariah gets word from the Lord, hey, I know what you're doing, I know what you're going through, just keep it up. We talk here about the horses. The horses are usually indicative of certain types of things that they're supposed to do. The color red is indicative of battle and bloodshed. White is victory and peace. Sorrel, which is translated into the King James Version as speckled, is usually the time period after the battle is over but before the peace is fully established in the land and in the people's hearts. And then it talks about the riders. What do the riders do? The riders are not just out there gathering information. Heavenly Father doesn't need people to gather information. He knows what's happening. But these horsemen are on errands to see to it that certain things happen. And those people that are on the red horse basically are there to make sure that whatever nation they're directed to has whatever happens did. In this case, they are engaged in wars and destroyed by wars in most cases. A horse that is gray or speckled indicates that that particular country will have to deal with famine and pestilence and various diseases. And those horses, those men and riders that have white horses, there's victory and conquest and peace that is there. Verses 12 through 17, they're talking about the restoration of Jerusalem. There had been 70 years of the Babylonian captivity, total desolation for all of the land of Israel. They came back through Zerubbabel. He was the governor. These people are supposed to be rebuilding the city, rebuilding the temple, all the rest of it. But it's dualistic. It also means that there is not only, they're talking about right now, but he's talking about the future time. In 70 A.D., the Romans came and totally destroyed it. And we know, again, there's going to be a siege in the last days, and the city is going to be at least partially captured. Now, the saying that there's going to be a line stretched forth from Jerusalem basically is just their way of saying they're going to measure it out and it's going to be built exactly, properly right. Verse 18 and 19, what are the horns? Horn is always a symbol of power. And it means that there are 4 nations, 4 powers, 4 empires that are going to oppress Israel one after the other. And we can talk about the dream that Daniel interpreted for Nebuchadnezzar, this great big huge statue that was the gold and the silver and the brass and the iron and all the rest of that. In which case we believe that the 4 empires would have been Assyria, Babylon, Greece under Alexander the Great, and the Romans, who eventually destroyed Israel. And last but not least, the carpenters. The carpenters, it doesn't specifically say, but what I believe really means is this: the carpenters are always symbols of building and peace, and that although the 4 horns will push, that the carpenters are symbolic of peaceful individuals. Jesus was a carpenter that would come and basically save Israel and push away all those people who were oppressing her.